Good morning. We're baking biscuits, basic biscuits. 2 pounds white lily self-rising flour. One quart heavy whipping cream. And that's all, folks. You mix this up. You mix it really just till it just comes together. You don't want to use a mixer and over mix it. Just use your hands and bring it all together. It's going to be wet, so it's helpful if you've got a little extra flour, so that as soon as you've got it all together, you've got that extra flour. So I sprinkle a little on here and just kind of pat it all together. A little more. Just to get it into a blob that you can keep, that you can put and roll out. So I'm going to flour my sheet. Again, I'm using white lily self-rising flour. So again, this was 2 pounds of flour. This is going to make a lot of biscuits. You don't need, like I said, you don't need to work it a long time. Just once you kind of got it into a ball or a, whatever shape, I like to press mine out. And then once I've got it, once I've kind of got it about like that, I'll go ahead and get this dough. This makes your hands feel really nice and soft. And then I just kind of like to roll it out. How big do you roll it out? You roll it out until it's about the depth of your fingers. So about finger depth. Again, we only use 2 ingredients. We're just going to mix. We're just going to mix. And now I'd like to cut out 2-inch biscuits because that's better with the strawberry jalapeno jam that I use. So this should make about 50 2-inch biscuits. You can freeze them. You can save them in the refrigerator. You can, I always bake them. I always bake all of them. And then if I have biscuits left over, I don't always have biscuits left over. But when I have biscuits left over, tomorrow we'll slice the biscuits in half and then put a little cheese or sugar and cinnamon on them and run them under the toaster. While you're doing this, you should have already turned on your oven and preheat your oven to 500 degrees. People say, 500 degrees? That's hot. You're darn right it's hot, but it's what it takes to make these biscuits rise like you're going to see in just a little bit. So when you put the biscuits on the pan, they should just touch each other. You don't want to crowd them. You don't want to mash them all together, but they still should touch. They shouldn't, you don't put them out like cookies on a sheet where there's a couple of inches in between. These should all touch. Now, the other thing you do before I put these biscuits in the oven, I will always brush melted butter on the tops. And I put melted butter on the tops before I bake them. I put melted butter on the tops after I've taken them out. Okay, got the biscuits. The oven's heated to 500 degrees. At this point, I've melted a half a stick of real butter, salted butter, and I'm just going to take a little brush and I'm going to brush it across these tops. Again, these biscuits, they're just touching each other. They're not crowded, they're not overcrowded, they're not crammed together. I have baked these biscuits in batches in 9-inch round pans like Sister Schubert rolls, where you do that. But again, that works. And if you're serving smaller groups and always want to have hot things, I like to go back. This does make for really buttery goodness. I don't usually butter the biscuits when I take them out of the oven. I mean, I don't, when I'm eating them, I don't put them in half and put any butter on them, because there's, as you can see, there's plenty of butter for everybody. Okay. Here we go. We're going to pop these in the oven. Oven's at 500 degrees. We're going to bake these for 12 minutes. 500 degrees, 12 minutes. Okay, folks, it's been 12 minutes exactly. Look what we have here. I melted another half a stick of butter. You see how much these biscuits have risen up. Again, they did that because they were touching each other, just touching each other, and because it was 500 degrees in there. Some of you may say, I don't know if my oven goes up to 500 degrees. Yep, that's probably the top though, unless you've got some super Viking oven of some kind. But again, I like to put just a little more butter on the tops, and I'm going to cut a couple of these out for you so you can see how they really look on the inside. Of course, these ones down on the end that looks kind of motley, or they were in that second cut of biscuits after I cut out the first group. So if you're serving to company, start over here, put these on the bottom of the basket. They'll still be just as good, but they're just not as pretty. And serving pretty biscuits, you know, it's part of your whole enjoyment. So again, this was another half stick of butter. So you see how they rose up. You see how they're baking. You see how good that is. All right. You know, I made this video not because it was hard. Making the videos harder for me than it is baking the biscuits. The biscuit part is easy. We live in a canned biscuit world, and how much better is it if you can learn with 2 ingredients just to bake your own biscuits? So I'm signing off. Y'all have a great rest of your day.